and extremely inspiring, especially for students from Tier 2 and Tier 3 colleges. Has been selected in 6 PSUs: IOCL, NTPC, BHEL, NALCO, NLC, and Cochin Shipyard. He also cleared SSP Tech for Indian Navy, worked with Mercedes-AMG high performance powertrains.
Exam that I have given, it is he who has pushed me, like even though there were situations where I don't want to give exams, but he was like, just go and attempt and do that. So he's been my inspiration right from childhood, mechanical. And I had a very excellent mentor in my father. So that is one of the challenging things to do as a student. You won't have a group of professors doing the job for you. Just wanted to bring that change.
It's a very powerful perspective, sir. I'm sure many students now realize that college life is not just about marks, but about overall growth and responsibility.
Did a thorough research about the way applications are filtered, the way resume is being shortlisted, and the phases in selection process. The potential based on you've seen Indian students in the past doing it, why not me? So that was one advice I always kept in my mind.
Sir, how one can manage both speed and accuracy in gate, because both are important. So electronics, we have a sequence, like if you follow this sequence, it makes the gate preparation easy. So is there any sequence in mechanical engineering too?
Will be tricky. In mechanical, design has always been tricky in the past, and it will be in the future also, because and next thing, it is not important to complete entire syllabus. It's important to see how well you retain what you have completed. You have to make a very good notes. So if you just follow NPTEL properly in line with the GATE syllabus.
And could you please tell something about that 62 LPA offer during your B.Tech?
That's actually, if you ask me, that is the right approach, personally. Actually, when I got it, I first asked my friend to check it once, because maybe there's a glitch or something, I could not accept it. So my friend confirmed that it actually happened, because gate result comes, they told that gate result will come on March 18th. Okay. So it came on March 17th night itself. So I thought maybe there's a glitch in website, the rank is showing too less. Then I told my mom that I got this rank, you should, you can be happy about it. But my father was very happy. And then next day it came in newspaper also in following day. So it was a proud moment for me personally, looking back at that. And the university professor, like vice chancellor himself, called and he said, you already got a package. Now you even went to core. So that's something, it made a memorable end to my B.Tech. And
really heartwarming, sir.
And my friends, if you're watching, thank you for being with me. And thank you for doing a very elaborate research about my profile. I was myself actually taken by surprise. You put a lot of effort into it. Thank you so much for that. And you are targeting the right people. Hopefully bringing few more people on board. It would be exhaustive for GATE, whoever is preparing for GATE. Right now with the recession and other things that are going on, GATE becomes a very good alternative for students to just add up something in their career ladder. So this series will go a long way in shaping a lot of careers, hopefully, because these insights people can only say with their experiences. It is not just based on the syllabus or exam alone. So I hope you get a lot more people on board, and if there's ever anything, I'm always available. So thank you so much for inviting me. I had a very good nostalgic refresher of what I have gone through, and hopefully it reaches the right audience. Thank you.
To Saisri Study Blogs. Gate Topper Talks is a platform where we don't just talk about ranks, we talk about the mindset, decisions, and discipline behind those ranks. Today's episode is very special and extremely inspiring, especially for students from Tier 2 and Tier 3 colleges. Our guest is someone who proved that it's not the college tag, but commitment and discipline that turn dreams into reality. He secured All India rank 106 in GATE 2022 during his final year of B.Tech and All India rank 74 in 2023 in mechanical engineering. Completed M.Tech in thermal and fluids from IIT Bombay in 2024 and is currently working as an executive engineer at BHEL Boilers Division. He has been selected in 6 PSUs: IOCL, NTPC, BHEL, NALCO, NLC, and Cochin Shipyard. He also cleared SSP Tech for Indian Navy, worked with Mercedes-AMG high-performance powertrains. He was selected as a CERN summer student, one of just 5 students chosen across India, and the only non-IITian among them. Cleared 3 PSC exams during his B.Tech, APPSC FPO in 2019 and APPSC Group 4 in 2020 and 2022, and received global offer of 62 LPE. A warm welcome to Gate Talks Muzammil sir. We are really excited to learn from your experience. So before we dive into, could you please briefly introduce yourself to our viewers, like your background, hometown, and your family, and how mechanical engineering became your choice in B.Tech?
Thank you so much for an elaborate introduction, Saisri, and thank you so much for having me in your channel. And hello everyone. My name is Mohammed Muzammil. I hail from Anantapur, but my schooling and intermediate has been in Visakhapatnam for until 2018. Then I went back to Anantapur thanks to M.Set to pursue my B.Tech in mechanical engineering from JNTU Anantapur. I spent 4 years there, pursued my B.Tech, and after that I cleared GATE in 2022 with an All India rank of 106, and went on to pursue thermal and fluids engineering from IIT Bombay. I graduated in 24, and subsequently since then I worked during my M.Tech phase in Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula 1 team as a graduate junior aerodynamicist trainee, which was in parallel through my M.Tech project. And subsequently, after that, I converted 6 PSUs thanks to a rank of 74 in 2023 attempt of GATE Mechanical Engineering. And finally, with that, I joined Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited in the year 2024 in Boilers Division, which is in line with what I pursued in my M.Tech. And that's been my journey. And right now, I'm working from Vishakhapatnam division of BHEL.
And how this mechanical engineering became your choice in B.Tech, sir? Like this branch became.
Um, it was inspired with my father actually. He is a mechanical engineering graduate and now he is working as a DGM in Cochin Shipyard Limited. So thanks to his guidance, every single exam that I have given, it is he who has pushed me. Like even though there were situations where I don't want to give exams, but he was like, just go and attempt and do that. So he's been my inspiration right from childhood. I've spent more time in my initial 5 years in ship rather than on land, thanks to him. So it has always been there. So through the family, it was either mechanical or civil because of my mother, but thankfully, uh, through the MSET counseling, it came turned out to be mechanical, and I had a very excellent mentor in my father. So that's why it turned out to be that.
Yeah, that's interesting, sir. Coming from a family of engineers, especially with your father in mechanical engineering, must have given
Yeah.
you early exposure. And it's interesting to see how that influence reflected in your journey. And I have
Yes.
gone through your LinkedIn profile, sir. Your JNDA, I mean,
Yes.
B.Tech journey in JNDA Anantapur. Journey shows a rare balance of academics, leadership, and mentor. And looking back, how did you manage to both academics and co-curricular activities?
So, yeah, like that is one of the challenging things to do as a student when you are preparing for competitive exams, at the same time balancing semester, and also you have extracurricular activities to do. The thing in state universities, especially if they are public universities, is that you don't have pressure that much about attendance, although it is 75% mandatory. But there are institutes which my friends have done where there is a 90% thing, otherwise you'll lose your marks. So you have phenomenal freedom in state universities, and you're very well backed by your professors to go after and pursue anything. They are open to share their expertise. But one thing is that you have to do it on your own. Like you won't have group of professors doing the job for you. So the way I balanced it was simple: make a very good team, speak to the people, know your role very well, like what you can do better, what they can do better. And that is one of the fundamental steps in preparing competitive exams also, knowing your strengths, knowing your teammates' strengths, and knowing what each person brings onto the table. We had a very good team thing in our club. Each person was very good. Like I had Alim, one of my batchmates in B.Tech. He was very good in marketing, getting the people on board, and he runs a social media platform with around like 20K followers right now. So he's good at that. So I brought him on the table. And then Professor, who is a very good mentor in clubs right from the inception of JNT Anandpur in 1995. So he was adding value. And most importantly, my focus was that I need to learn how to run the subordinates, how to bring a change in the system of JNT Anandpur, because that is the place where people are like, we are from tier 3 colleges, why do we need this? So I
Yes.
just wanted to bring that change. uh, I was successful to an extent, but I felt lot more could have been done. But due to COVID, we had our restriction. Ours was a COVID batch, so
Yeah.
2020 and 21 was completely shaken off. So due to the restrictions of COVID, we did whatever we could. That turned out to be beneficial for me moving forward in competitive exams, interviews per se of PSUs, interviews in my campus placements, like the one Goldman Sachs as well.
Yeah.
This one turned out to be the critical factor, the participation in extracurriculars. It's not just about you getting all the accolades, it's about bringing out the best in others, your juniors, your friends, your classmates, and even the professors themselves if you come up with your new thoughts. So that is one thing.
Yeah, that's a very powerful perspective, sir. I'm sure many students now realize that college life is not just about marks, but about overall growth and responsibility. And many students think that like internships like CERN are only possible for IITs and NIT students. As someone from a state university background, what practical advice would you give to undergraduates who dream of such international research opportunities?
Again, this CERN, I got to know this. CERN stands for European Council of Nuclear Research. So I got to know this from my dad again. He sent me this, my colleague's son is applying. He's from IIT Kharagpur. Why don't you try? So I went through the profile. It looked far fetched, that is true. But then I wanted to give it a try because there is no way it is written that only IITians should apply or only NITians should apply. It's a global platform. So that is one thing. But one thing is that I did a thorough research about the way applications are filtered, the way resume is being shortlisted, and the phases in selection process. So when I went, the first step in CERN is that you need to get two strong referrals, like from your professors or from colleagues with whom you worked as an intern. And those two referrals are initial screening. Like if the referrals are not good, your application won't even be considered. Here is where tiers of the college comes into picture. Like the professors in IIT, there's a metric called H index. It measures how good you are performing research globally. It's a Google platform which gives this rating H index. So if IIT professors have a very good H index, so they're recognized globally and their referrals work to a great extent. So in state universities, our professors did not have that good of a H index. So my first step was to contact, again, this is the first advice, is that create LinkedIn account as early as possible, because that is how networking begins.
Yeah.
And I created my LinkedIn. Then I looked at professors with a H index of about 25 to 30. Usually 25 is considered good. I may be going technical, but it is critical. Like if you have above 25 H index, then that professor or that person is known globally in research field. So I asked him, like I've done internship in that time I had only Hindustan Shipyard as internship. So I told I've done internship in this. I have this CPI and I've worked personally in this project. There was one project which I was designing. I was working on 3D softwares that time. Think Katia that was course was going on. So he showed interest in me. His name is Professor Sandeep Saha from IIT Bombay. And he told, "Can you work on my project part time so that at least I can put that on my record and I can give you the referral also." So that happened for around 2 weeks. And subsequently, he gave me his referral. And the second referral came from HSL, which is a very renowned shipyard in Vishakhapatnam. And also, it is globally recognized for building naval vessels. So these two referrals got me in. So ultimately, you have to use your own strategies. Like, first thing when I told CERN to professor in IIT Bombay, he told this only, like, our students apply for that. How did you get to know? So I
Mhm.
just told, why not give it a shot? He was actually, he gave a very good review that time about the project. I got to learn a lot based on the project he gave me. It was on thermal energy storage systems. Then subsequently, after resume gets shortlisted, you have to attend a virtual interview. Fortunately and unfortunately, that was also in COVID. So
Okay.
the entire internship was done online. That was the only year when things happened online. Otherwise, you have to go there. It would have been great, but it was easier doing it online, and it was paid also. So you get a good sum of amount. And during internship, during the interview, their first question was, "Where is JNT Anandpur?" We've never heard of this place from India. It usually starts with IIT or NIT, but they were more keen on the co-curriculars you're doing that time, because as a student they won't expect you to know your subject that deep in your second year itself. This happened in second year ending, I think. They will focus on the extracurriculars you're doing and the projects which you are doing on your own without industry support or any other factors. These are the things that CERN looks at, because that's where it shows how keen you are for your own development. That is what research is all about, isn't it? Like how you do it on your own. You don't need to necessarily have be successful, but even an attempt towards, getting problem solved, that itself is what they look at. So after that, the interview was for like around two stages. One was basic technical, where they ask basics about your mechanical background back then, strength of materials and thermodynamics. And then they ask, this is predominantly physics field, how will you cope? So I said, this is just the beginning of my career. There are a lot of sources in Coursera which we could learn. NPTEL is there.
Yeah.
Um, Give me a chance. Why not? You could see the potential based on you've seen Indian students in the past doing it. Why not me? So that's when things, they were a bit happy. And then it went on to HR round, basically discussing about the like potential of whether program, if it is being held offline. That was not certain during the interview stage. Then they were asking about the visa process and passport and all. Do you have, and what are the restrictions? India is a CERN member state,
Yes.
so your chance of selection is slightly better than non-member states. So they were keen on getting the visa sponsorship done also. So that's when I felt really happy, and that experience completely changes your perspective towards the field of engineering problems as such, and also the way you have to approach a problem, because it's not just software, pen or paper or anything else. It's about understanding the resources or constraints in hand. And particle physics is something which is touted to be the next big thing. So from a mechanical perspective, if any undergrad student is pursuing second or third year, I really urge him to take that shot, because that stamp of CERN summer students program will take you to heights. You, it's up to you to what extent you could utilize it. So ultimately, only advice I could give is don't back off because it's too far ahead, but give it a shot. It's up to you. Now that you have tools like AI, ChatGPT, you can do much more than what we did in 2020s and 21s. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very great approach and really well explained, sir. This advice is extremely practical and motivating, sir, especially for students who think opportunities are limited by college stack for IITs or NITs. And during your GATE preparation, was there any phase where you doubted yourself or felt demotivated because of low marks in mock tests or something?
Actually, a lot. More or less, it was maximum. I was low only because I never scored good score in mock tests. Like out of 100, usually 60. Back then, 60 was considered a good score. Now it has come down to 50
Yeah.
due to reduction in competition and all. But my marks were hovering between 45 and 52. So I tried everything. Like I was revising. It was not improving. But one thing is that uh, I used to speak to my mentor. Actually, I took coaching from an academy. I'm open about it. SK Mandal sir just joined an academy that year. Okay, so he's touted. He's one of the good teachers in mechanical engineering subject. So he just told one thing. There's nothing more you could do. You could just revise to an extent where you don't commit mistakes of the subjects you already know, because
Mm.
that is considered to be a bigger sin then learning something, completing the syllabus 100%, and even making mistakes on the subjects where everyone more or less makes gets it right. So that was one advice I always kept in my mind. So gate is usually held in Feb. That time it was, I think, in Feb second week. I don't remember the date, but by October, November, I understood that I cannot complete 100% of the syllabus in first attempt. I'm talking about the 22 attempt. It is about saving what I know rather than going after and learning everything that I don't. So I started revision, and subsequently, what I observed was when I was giving my mock tests, there are a lot of mistakes, silly mistakes. That could be calculation, that could be understanding the gate virtual calculator itself. Funny,
Mm.
but that happens sometimes. And these itself take time for you to adjust the environment itself. So if I had not started in October, it could have been far worse. The only good thing I did that time was listening to that mentor of mine, Mandal sir, that revise, write mock tests. And although it was 45 to 50, 55, I think last mock I gave in 22 ended around 57.33, something without normalizing. And 22 paper was held in two shifts. So that time gate applications were really high for mechanical. So I got the first shift. It was difficult shift. My friends, the contrast here was my friends went for finishing the syllabus. I went for saving the 60 to 70% syllabus that I had completed with a very good grip in mathematics. That is very essential. Mathematics is non negotiable because that is one subject which you can predict what can come. Definitely, you can predict what chapter will come, what model will come. So, maths plus aptitude usually comes around 28 marks. You have to score about 22 in both. Otherwise, your paper, I would, in my opinion, will not go that great, these two things. Then, after the result came out, I found that my shift was tougher shift compared to second shift. I ended up scoring 57 only, but thanks to normalization, it went to 65.
Okay.
So, one thing I learned with this is that thanks to revision, my score stayed it as it is. It did not go down. So, and with a bit of luck of normalization, the raw marks shot up, normalized score, and that converted into a good rank that time. So, uh, that is something my friends could not. My friends who went for 100% syllabus, my colleagues that time, their marks went down actually because they could not revise and give mock tests. And the mistakes which I was talking about, virtual calculator, getting used to that, calculation error. Sometimes concept is very looks easy, but the way you interpret in questions, one unit wrong and your whole equation goes for a toss. So these kind of mistakes, they are not wrong to happen, but these won't happen if you don't if you have given enough mock tests and what you call practiced a lot. So that's one thing I would say.
Yeah, sir, you secured All India rank 106 in 2022 and 74 in
Yeah.
2023. What changed between these attempts? Like,
So,
mm,
yeah, thank you. So in 106, that time the only thing was, like I said, 60 to 70% syllabus was done in my first attempt.
okay.
30% syllabus was pending. So after I joined IIT Bombay, fortunately that 30% was thermal only. So I was doing M.Tech in thermal and fluids. So I was learning them with a greater depth of understanding and solving the problems which are, in a way, far more connected to real world engineering in your thesis, because you are actually solving an industrial problem.
Okay.
So, M.Tech students, especially in top IITs, they work in collaboration with industries to solve a problem. So, I was in Mercedes that time. So, things were easier with that 30% of syllabus. And all I had to do was revise. And if you are asking what changed, I completed the syllabus with a much better, what you call, understanding of the concepts. That is one thing. Mock test frequency came down. I could not write time because I had to balance IIT Bombay academics also. But thanks to, I feel, the competition level in mechanical was also not that high as it was in 2022.
Yes.
So the marks which I got were, I think, 70 in my second attempt. 70.33 were the score I was the marks I scored. And that subsequently, I was not expecting that uh, double digits, because if it is 2022, then it could have been tougher. But I felt paper was actually easier in 2023 compared to 2022. But I felt maybe the competition level has come down or something like that. But not complaining, I was satisfied with that. The changes were simple: syllabus completion, revision. But only regret I had was I could not give that many mock tests. But ultimately, it ended up well. So no regrets there.
Sir, how one can manage both speed and accuracy in gate, because both are important. So, yeah.
In mechanical perspective, I would say it's about how you solve the paper first. Like first thing, many people, I feel, I mean, sometimes it works for them. For me personally, I go with reasoning and aptitude first. Some people go at the end. But I feel reasoning and aptitude are easy 15 marks which are gifted to you by gate themselves. If you can get only one bit wrong. If you get more than one bit wrong, then anyways your paper is it's difficult to make it up in core. So attempt that part first, because it cools your nerves, because those are the questions which are kind of easy, and nerves are important in gate paper. One question at a time. You cannot be like starting core, and if you find a difficult question or something lengthy question, you instantly get into that mood where there is a chance that you could make silly mistakes. So planning this planning happens in mock tests. So that's when you know what is your strength, what is your weakness. There could be people whose strength could be core mechanical engineering, and some people could be weak in aptitude. I felt it is easier to go about aptitude questions first, because they are predictable. You just have to solve last 10 years of aptitude questions of all papers. You will at least get 12 out of 15. So I don't think
And
it
aptitudes.
can't be less than that. That time I scored around 12.67 out of 15. I got one bit wrong of 2 marks with no 12.33, I think. 2 marks bit I got wrong. Other than that, maths, everything comes about later on. So comparing speed comes with practice, mock tests, and accuracy also same mock tests. But the way you attempt your question, that it is up to one's individual strengths, whether he's good at core or non-core. But that needs to be decided before going to gate exam. That time, an uncertainty there could prove fatal later on. I have seen people do that, like not in gate aspect, but one of my colleague, he went to attempt mechanical in one of the paper. It was, I think, ISRO's paper back then. The paper was easy, but it was very lengthy. He
Mm.
went on. solving it, last 5 minutes he was left with entire aptitude section, which were easy questions. So he could not finish the aptitude on time, and it it ended up being brutal. So that is one thing one should have about this pre-decided before going to gate exam. That is one thing.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. And in electronics, we have a sequence. Like if you follow this sequence, it makes the gate preparation easy. So, is there any
Mm.
other? Is there any sequence in mechanical engineering too?
Based on previous, I personally followed like this, like preparation point of view. Main subjects are thermal, manufacturing, and design. So, thermal subjects I felt are something which, with practice, one needs to solve lot of previous year papers. So, more or less, the pattern will be same. So, go about thermal first. I felt that. Then manufacturing is a static part. You won't have scope for too many new questions in manufacturing part. So that would be the next. Design will be tricky. In mechanical, design has always been tricky in the past, and it will be in the future also, because a lot of new subjects are being added up in gate syllabus, like robotics, and new areas are being explored. So this would be the sequence: thermal, manufacturing, and design in the end. But one thing is that you need to solve. The way you solve the questions is also important. You have to solve previous papers. That is non-negotiable in GATE. You cannot go about that, because you won't even know the pattern. So especially after the introduction of virtual calci, like that is around, I think, 2017, 18. These papers will give you crux about where mistake can happen, what conceptual clarity a subject demands, and ultimately how to go about practicing it. I personally had virtual calci app in my phone that time, even though that didn't help in my mock test. So the way you use it on the touchpad is completely different from using it on mouse. So that also, that day, it matters a lot. So that is one thing. So sequence is that, and the way you practice it, it has to be previous gate papers. Previous ESE papers help, but in ESE there is no calculator, so questions will not be that lengthy. Previous ESE descriptive paper could help you,
Hmm.
uh, but whatever it is, previous gate papers are non-negotiable, and at least one coaching institute workbook you can solve. Or if you're not from coaching institute, then NPTEL assignment questions also help you to a great extent. If you're able to solve NPTEL questions, then you will definitely solve a gate paper. That is a easy go, if you ask me.
Okay, sir. Did you opt for online or the offline mode for gate preparation?
Mine was completely online, because that time actually COVID was there. So that was the time when things were getting into online classes and all. So I took online coaching that time from an academy during that phase. But uh, there are a couple of my friends that coaching, I would say, for me it helped, but there are people whom I know in my office right now, or in IIT Bombay, who have not taken coaching, who have studied only NPTEL, and they've uh, got a better rank than me also. So I would recommend, it has to be either one of the coaching institute, or NPTEL is very good. If you are able to understand NPTEL lectures and solve them with the clarity that they are being taught there, then that will help you in interviews also, because that is what the industry requires,
Yeah.
and that is what the what do you call professors in IIT expect from their students also. Because in coaching, when we are doing, we focus on marks, but NPTEL, the motive of the video is not just marks. It's about uh, introducing students to the engineering problems at hand that go beyond the scope of academia. So that is one thing I would say.
Thank you. Since you opted for the online mode, so how one can learn effectively for 3 hours, because the video lecture will be for 3 hours, one have to sit for 3 hours. So how we can do that?
Okay, so yeah, right now it is tricky because you also have classes to go daily and attend what you call your institute lectures and then balance academics. And we also spoke about curriculars. So all these together, it's a bit difficult. One thing I would say is start early as much as possible. You can't delay it beyond second year. I started in second year, first semester ending. So second year, second semester. That's when your mathematics will be done, and you can actually get a jump start on gate, because mathematics is one thing which is non every day. You have, at least in your 1 year before gate, you have to solve uh, enough number of questions in mathematics daily. That is one thing. And since you're asking how do you sustain 3 hours, that is by starting early. There is no option there, and making notes
Yeah.
in a way that can be retained for the next 3 years. Because if you open the notes after there will be situations where you'll be opening a subject after 2 years, and
Mm.
if you don't understand your own notes, then it becomes difficult. For me, that was the case. I was not able to understand my own notes after 2 years. So make a good notes of the videos that you are going through. And next thing, it is not important to complete entire syllabus. It's important to see how well you retain what you have completed. And completed, you should have at least 60 to 70% minimum. That much you need to do to get a good score and survive. That's how complete aspect. For me personally, I was in COVID phase, so my classes were online. So I used to have just 2 or 3 classes per day. So rest of the time I would manage from. I used to go late night until 1 a.m., 2 a.m. until the lecture is done. Sometimes I used to increase the speed of the video as well. One, because there are some easy concepts you don't have to like sit behind and listen to it at 1x. So that is one thing. But main aspect in this is notes making. You have to make a very good notes because it is a 3 year journey until you get your good rank. In my case, it was 3 years till I got 74. So you should have your notes in such a way that you can sustain them later on when you look back at them. So that is one thing. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure this advice will save a lot of time to the GATE aspirants. And how should an average students with limited resources prepare smartly? Like
Okay.
free resources, as you said about NPTEL courses. Or did you follow any free resources other than NPTEL, like any YouTube lectures you want to suggest?
Um, there are a lot of channels in YouTube, but during my time, NPTEL was the only source which we knew about. And one thing I would tell is that it is very effective. I would suggest people to take up courses in NPTEL as certification, because that ultimately helps you in your placements.
Hmm.
The more NPTEL certificates you have, people know that these are the lectures that have come up from IIT colleges. So these matter a lot to the recruiters also. But for GATE specifically, if you are going through NPTEL, that means you are learning the entire textbook end to end and beyond. So if you just follow NPTEL properly in line with the GATE syllabus, you need to remember every line of the GATE syllabus if you are a GATE aspirant. In line with the GATE syllabus, there are courses also. At least in mechanical engineering, I can assure all the aspirants that you have lecture series which are free of cost, either in IIT Bombay website themselves. Like IIT Bombay has CD portal, which is, I don't know, maybe not a lot of people know this. CD portal is there with which you can access the lectures in IIT Bombay. It's an open source, so anyone can access it of all the subjects, right from 1990s until 2025. They record the lectures actually and they're preserved. So you can access that also, which are definitely in line with GATE syllabus. And fortunately, you may get a similar questions also in gate. That happens if you see NPTEL assignments, and if you see the corresponding gate papers, you will find similar questions in that. And CDEP is one, and then NPTEL is one, and then there is a portal for IIT Kharagpur also. I don't remember the name, but they also record their lectures and they are posted in their own websites, and it is open source, like anyone can access it. So with limited resources, if you are able to do this, you will do much better than the student who is actually prepared through coaching. This coaching focuses on weightage, but this is exhaustive. Like it covers every aspect. Even if in case the gate paper is tough, this person will not suffer because he has seen much tougher questions and approach. Yeah. And I have friends who have done that and who are doing better also. So that's actually, if you ask me, that is the right approach, personally.
Yeah, that's a wonderful tip, sir. And you were selected in six PSUs. How did you approach PSU preparation strategically? I mean, the gate syllabus is enough, or do we need to prepare extra for those PSU preparation?
Well, actually, PSU preparation, most of the PSUs I selected were directly through GATE. So, based on GATE score, you're shortlisted and then you are called directly for the interview. So, in interview, if you are going for a PSU interview, mechanical aspirants especially, you have to be very thorough with welding, very
Okay.
thorough with pumps. These two, pumps and welding technology, these are 100% questions, because I don't know why, but almost all PSUs I've attended, I will say all, none of the PSUs have not asked they have always asked these questions, welding and pump. I think because it's universally always requirement of the industry or something. This is one thing you need to be very good at, and your project, personally your B.Tech project which you have done, or if you are pursuing M.Tech, that time M.Tech project,
Okay.
and these things matter. And if you're asking specifically PSU exams which I have written, that is Cochin Shipyard was a written paper which I went and wrote. Gate syllabus is exhaustive for that. There is a bit of general knowledge, current affairs, and aptitude reasoning. GK, you being a gate aspirant, I was not good at that personally, but luckily that didn't matter because it comes only for minimal weightage. So that is one thing. And it is important that you should not have your nerves going around inside the interview cabin, because my first interview was a complete disaster. I given Chennai Petroleum, CPCL was my first interview. I
Okay.
went inside the cabin, my legs were already shivering. So it's important that you get used to that. You will get used to that if you give one or two, but you never know which is your last. So, given that situation, you have to. There are platforms which provide free interview counseling also. NPTEL is one, PSUs, or not in the name of PSUs, but in name of workshop, technical workshops they provide at a nominal fee of 50 or 100 rupees. I would recommend that. And in a nutshell, if you are a mechanical engineering graduate, yeah, so for mechanical engineering, I would say you have to be thorough with your B.Tech project, welding technology in particular, and pumps. These three are confirm, like more or less, they will always touch these topics in your PSU interview, whatever PSU it is. I have always been asked these three questions, regardless of the PSU I'm attending. And they will also focus on your year gap if anyone has any. I didn't have in my case, but that is something you need to be ready in case you're preparing with taking a year drop and studying only for GATE. So you need to have good answers, because in case of PSU, that is being taken into consideration. So that is how I approached. And GATE syllabus is usually exhaustive for PSU written exams. Now that I have been told that a lot of PSUs are taking through their own exams rather than taking through GATE because of the attrition issues. you can prepare for GATE syllabus. That should be more or less exhaustive. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, sir. And why did you finally choose BHEL or other PSUs?
I was very much inclined to go with IOCL at one point, but the uh, posting was a big factor considering that I was getting posting in Bongaigaon, Assam. It was a bit difficult for me personally to get used to that, and the value addition which I could do considering my M.Tech in thermal, I felt being in an engineering PSU made sense. But more or less, it was predominantly a choice based on posting because I was getting a Vishakhapatnam posting straight away. That was a huge plus. And in addition to that, BHEL is an engineering company where you have to design a lot of things. Core engineering happens to a level where you get to learn a lot and you can constantly upskill from here. And the career which you make in BHEL is almost as equivalent as you are making in a research organization personally compared to IOCL. There, the role is predominantly managerial, where you just have to oversee the regular tasks and manage the workforce effectively. So that key difference was a driving factor, but it was predominantly based on posting the way I got. So that is usually rare. The people in PSU can understand my standpoint. Getting a posting of your choice is usually not that straightforward. Yeah.
Okay, sir. And any advice for students confused between PSUs and M.Tech? And is B.Tech
Uh,
knowledge enough for getting into PSU job?
That depends. But first of all, answering your first question, choosing M.Tech and PSU, PSU won't be a straightforward choice unless, because by the time the PSU notification comes, it will be at least 6, 7 months post your GATE exam. By that time, I would recommend people joining M.Tech initially because the knowledge which I gained in B.Tech is nothing compared to the knowledge I gained studying in an IIT Bombay. So that is something that is driving my work right now. That is something that is driving my, I would say, career in a whole. So I would recommend people actually join it, learn something from there, give your best efforts in the first semester, and ultimately, if you get a PSU later on, it is up to how you feel. If it is an engineering PSU, you will, however, have an opportunity to scale. If it is a non-engineering PSU, like process industries like IOCL or BPCL and all, then in that case, I would recommend to stay for a year and look for placements in IIT Bombay itself because going forward you will have a lot of opportunities through IIT Bombay also these days with a very good uh, you won't be sad with the CTC aspects. You will have a lot of opportunities sitting in IITB placements, but it depends on individual how he thinks because the situation of the family, situation of person himself, how many years of gap he has. Because in IIT Bombay placement, year gaps matter a lot. If you have a lot of year gaps, your chances get reduced to a larger extent. If a person is having lot of year gaps, I would recommend join PSU definitely, no doubt, without a question. If he's passing out directly from college, like it was my case, he can afford to have 1 or 2 years to get a higher degree also. Because you can always get inclined towards the academia later on in your career. That is my perspective. And answering your second question, is BTech knowledge enough to get into a PSU? It is, but BTech knowledge has to come from right source. Like I said, NPTEL would be great, or textbooks. That needs to be something which everyone sees. Because in industry, they won't look at your preparation from your materials. They are core people who have, the one who are taking your interview will have at least 15, 20 years experience. So they'll ask what is related to the industry, what they know, not what you are expecting to know. So that is something I would tell.
Okay, sir. And how did you land an opportunity with Mercedes AMG high performance powertrains?
So this happened during my final semester of B.Tech actually. When I joined, they released a notification with people who have a internationally recognized engineering exam score. So in India's case, that is GATE, which is recognized globally. So if you have a score in that, in case of US, it is I think PET exam. You need to have a certification of that. So applied through their website only. So and then they had their own written test. Then based on the written test, it is predominant. It is much easier than GATE. That is, I felt more or less a formality just to see whether you're good at basic engineering or not. After that, you're based on your resume. It is again shortlisted to uh, what you call interview, and in interview they ask predominantly which M.Tech college you're going, because if you are not joining M.Tech, then they won't take you. Their primary criteria is that you need to do M.Tech from somewhere. So, and in India's case, it has to be either from Bombay, Delhi, or Madras. These are the only three colleges they take into consideration. So I said I have current standing offer from Mumbai in thermal and fluids engineering. So then based on that, they have given me the project which they are working on right now in their industry. That in collaboration with my guide. This is the same guide who helped me in the past during while landing the CERN internship. He became my M.Tech guide later on. Finally, I told him, I approached him, this is the industry problem that I have at hand, and I want to work on this. You could be the co guide because you have a recognized H index. So he was interested, and that's how post agreement with IIT Bombay gave clearance that we are okay with the student working on this project. That was subsequently accepted by Mercedes, and that ultimately turned up into my 18 months work experience with M.Tech, which helped me a lot in PSUs. But the problem with that is that invites a lot of questions uh, to an extent that I was also not prepared. So that
Okay.
is one thing. But this is a good opportunity only for those students who don't have a year gap. People who are passing out in the final year, Mercedes usually releases a notification for in their portal where you can apply with gate score. In India's case, in US it is PET exam, or based on different countries have their exam. So that is one thing. So that could be one of the things that could be a good value addition throughout your M.Tech also. Yeah.
Interesting, sir. And could you please tell something about that 62 LPA offer during your BTech?
Yeah, so that time there were portals like Lead Code. It was just getting and GitHub. These two were just getting, recognized throughout the student community. So again, there was an notification from Goldman Sachs Direct TX that time. So a couple of my friends from what do you call Vishakhapatnam that time intervened. They were applying. So we had applied. That time I was preparing intensely for GATE. In my final semester, there was a phase where they were like, for placements, you have to go through thorough coding and stuff. So code profile and GitHub profile needs to be really good. So with enough reach, you can actually end up getting online test first of all. So after applying, there was an online test for quantitative strategist role. So that role is predominantly based on the engineering mathematics domain. You have to be very good at mathematics. That helped me a lot because I was preparing for GATE anyways. So that ultimately converted into a interview call. There, it was predominantly they asked me about Java as mostly it was on Java and database DBMS SQL knowledge. But that time, the key factor that helped me were these profiles. They were really impressed with my lead code projects which I had taken up back then. Uh, that time we had this portal called Uh, I don't remember, but I'll check that once. But they were training us throughout that phase to uh, develop our own profile in such a way that shortlists could come. And ultimately, that converted into something I was also not expecting. But the only aspect that turned me down that time was relocation to that extent where purchase power comes into picture. So for that reason, I chose to pursue and stay in core. But it was a good experience throughout the way I performed, and in campus placements also. That particular thing eased me off because I didn't have to sit for any more companies. So in JNTU, even today, that was considered to be like the highest package which anyone has got. But ultimately, I don't see that to that extent. Ultimately, it ends up with the profile which you make and the projects which you do. That adds up to your offer ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah, really well explained, sir. And before we wrap up, could you please share your experience when you got a good rank in GATE in final year itself? And whom did you share it first?
Actually, when I got it, I first asked my friend to check it once because maybe there's a glitch or something. I could not accept it. So my friend confirmed that it actually happened because gate result comes. They told that gate result will come on March 18th. So
Okay.
it came on March 17th night itself. So I thought maybe there's a glitch in website. The rank is showing too less. Then again, I saw Telegram groups that it has actually happened. Then I told my mom that I got this rank. You should what do you call? You can be happy about it. She was like, "What does gate score do? Like, do you? What is the use?" She was not. She's not that well versed. So
Okay.
my father was very happy. And then next day it came in newspaper also in following day. So it was a proud moment for me personally, looking back at that. And the university professor, like vice chancellor himself, called and he said, you already got a package. Now you even went to core." So that's something. It made a memorable end to my B.Tech, and I called my and thanked my best friends also who have helped me during the time because throughout your preparation, everything matters. It's the family, first of all. They supported me a lot. And the kind of company you keep, the friends who push you beyond the limits. Sometimes it's just that little 1% that makes the difference. So that was one thing. So overall, in the second gate, it was not that. Although the rank was less, we like I knew to an extent that it was a good attempt, and my parents also knew that it is he will get a good rank. So the first gate will always be memorable for me because I was still a college kid that time, and looking back at that, it just feels good. So
Yeah,
yeah.
really heartwarming, sir. And do you want to thank anyone in this platform who helped you in this preparation? Any particular?
Well,
Yeah.
uh, my parents first of all, and professors who've been with me in JNT Anandpur who supported me despite they having their limitations. I used to ask them to do a lot of things which it's been unheard of in their institute back then. So them, and of course my professors in IIT Bombay who helped me to completely change my perspective in engineering problems, the way I learned moving forward. I learned much more than studies. It's about how you actually go about things in life also. That's one thing in IIT Bombay I learned a lot. And lastly, my friends, thank if you're watching,
Yeah.
you thank you for being with me. And that's pretty much it. But thank you overall so for that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. We're almost done with all the questions and for sharing your journey so openly and honestly. And could you please share in 2 or 3 sentences about this session and overall experience of this series.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for doing a very elaborate uh, research about my profile. I was myself actually taken by surprise. You put a lot of effort into it. Thank you so much for that. And you are targeting the right people. Hopefully, bringing few more people on board. It would be exhaustive for GATE, whoever is preparing for GATE. Right now, with the recession and other things that are going on, GATE becomes a very good alternative for students to just add up something in their career ladder. So this series will go a long way in shaping a lot of careers, hopefully, because these insights people can only say with their experiences. It is not just based on the syllabus or exam alone. So I hope you get a lot more people on board. And if there's ever anything, I'm always available. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for inviting me. I had a very good nostalgic refresher of what I have gone through. And hopefully it reaches the right audience. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And this conversation has been extremely insightful, inspiring, and grounding at the same time. To everyone watching this, if this conversation added value to your preparation, do like, share, and subscribe to Saisri Study Vlogs. See you in the next episode. Until then, keep learning, stay consistent, and trust the process. Thank you. Thank you, sir.